What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out the brand new Thornhill song titled Arkangel, and I'm excited about this. I am, but I'm also a little bit weary at the same time too, and that's mainly because, you know, the last song, Casanova, I actually enjoyed it when I first reacted to it. I thought it was like a nice new change of pace for the band. If you don't know Thornhill yet, they're pretty much like were a progressive metalcore band, but with their latest single, it felt a little bit more grunge rock, and it sounded like a mix of Muse and like other bands from like the 90s. So with Arkangel, it might like follow the same suit. And I noticed with Casanova, I didn't really go back to that song too much. You know, I enjoyed it on first listen, but it doesn't have the same replay value as stuff from like, you know, the Dark Pool. But you know, I like bands when they experiment, so I am looking forward to this. I've heard some mixed things, to be honest, but I'm here to make my own opinion, and I think that's all we need for chit chat. So let's fuck do it. I'm ready. Give me those flashing images. Ooh. Oh, that sounded really cool. Liking the synth work in the background, and drum playing's pretty good. Okay, yeah, we're continuing that same 90s influence grunge sound. It sounds like Deftones. Ooh. Ooh. Even the music video feels like it's pulled from the 90s, the aesthetic and the angles of the shots. Reminds me of like a Deftones music video or something. Ooh. Okay. Thought we were gonna get a breakdown. Ooh. Some cool shit happening with the rhythms there. Ooh. All right, where are we going? It's a good track so far, it really is. All right, cool structure. I thought the outro was going to happen, but instead, ooh. Oh, and how was that? Not every song needs a breakdown, right? Right? Anyway, pretty cool song, so let's talk about it, guys. All right, Thornhill with Arkangel, and this song doesn't really surprise me too much after listening to Casanova because it's pretty much in the same kind of vein, you know, that 90s grudge rock influence, very Deftones influence, and you know, it's a really good song, like just like Casanova, it's really well composed. I like some of the drum playing, the vocals are really ambient and soothing and pleasant sounding, they sound really nice. I just wonder the replay value on this because, and I'm also wondering how this is going to translate with a younger audience because I feel like the younger crew has probably not familiarized themselves with like, you know, the 90s like rock metal scene with bands like Deftones and stuff like that, where I feel like this is pulling a lot of influence from. But someone who like, you know, knows the 90s style of music, this is like a cool like take at it, but I don't know if it's like the most original thing I've heard, and I feel like their older stuff from the Dark Pool felt like a little bit more original, and maybe that's why I had more replay value. Anyway, let's go through the pros and cons. So number one pro is that I do really like the vocals on this track. You know, it's cool that, you know, it's very soothing, like I was saying, and it reminds me so much of Deftones in that regard, where, you know, there's heavy distorted guitars, but the vocals are just kind of like almost like a hum, and I think that works really well in contrast. And you know, like I said, very Deftones like, but I love the way that the vocals are styled like that, and you know, they elevate it for I think the third chorus at the end, or second chorus, I don't know, but the structure was pretty cool too. So, but I appreciate how, you know, he elevated his vocals near the end too to really make it a highlight moment. But speaking of structure, I think it's another cool thing that the song does have, you know, a normal kind of structure for the most part. And there's like enough variations to keep you on your toes, which I always appreciate. But I really like the outro on this song. I thought, you know, the outro had like a really nice change of pace, and I thought we were going to get a build up to a breakdown, and it kind of sucks that we didn't. But you know, not every song needs a breakdown. But I did feel like, you know, since they had those heavy down-tuned guitars, I felt like they could, like, you know, had a really crushing moment to end the song. But you know, it is what it is. And another pro is actually like the guitar work. I really thought the chords that were being played in the chorus sounded really cool. You know, definitely not just like, you know, simple power chords or octave chords or anything like that. The chords sound like very full, and just by looking at the way that he was playing, his fingers were kind of stretched out. So I was trying to figure out like what kind of chord he was playing, but you can also hear in the music, like, and that's stuff that I always appreciate in these bands, that they're not, you know, doing the most simplistic things instrumentally. And even that goes the same like for drumming. I felt like drumming was very active on this song. You know, in between the beats, there's always enough flair with like extra snare hits and extra flair on like some of the cymbal rides too. So I thought that was actually really cool as well. So yeah, a really cool track, but let's move on to the cons. And I guess my cons with this is like what I was saying a little bit earlier, that I'm wondering the replay value because, you know, the Dark Pool had a little bit more of an interesting vibe to me because it felt like progressive metalcore, but they had like a cool take at it with like some, you know, a lot of like synth work and ambient work that felt like it was a bit absent in other metalcore bands. And I thought they sounded pretty original in that regard. This sounds like it's almost in the same vein of what Loathe is doing a little bit in terms of like pulling a lot of influence from 90s bands into modern metalcore. And because of that, you know, and also this sounds even more similar to bands like the 90s, like it minus like the guitars, some of the guitar tones sound very modern gent tone, but otherwise like it does feel like a 90s song, and it's actually really cool. And it's still a really cool song. I'm just wondering the longer like replay value to this. Like I said, Casanova, I haven't really gone back to that song, but you know, with all that being said, like Thornhill is like a really cool band. You know, I think these singles are good. I just have enjoyed the Dark Pool a little bit more, and I'm not saying heavier is better, but I think the Dark Pool just had a little bit of more original sound to it, and I think that's why I'm enjoying a little bit more at the moment. But guys, that's my thoughts on Thornhill's new song Arkangel. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, so comment down below, spice up my life. What did you guys think of this tune? I'd love to know. Also, if you've gotten to this point in the video and you haven't clicked off yet, then I appreciate you, man. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, but on that, thank you for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.